Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on my wife's 2014 Subaru Forester. We are doing valve cover gaskets. Actually, I think they're called rocker cover gaskets, same thing. We're also going to be doing spark plugs while we're in there just because it's easier. Don't know if they need done, don't care if they need done, we're doing them. So this is the 25i Premium. I guess this would probably apply to the 2.0s that come in some of these XTs, but maybe different part numbers. Anyway, we're going to get into this. We're going to start on the passenger side. It's a little bit easier. I'm going to show you why I wanted to do these. And on my Black Legacy, I also did. It's just a Subaru thing. So anyway, let's get into this. I'll show you some of the stuff that we need. I'll show you what I purchased, and we're going to try and make this the best beater car that we can. All right, so these are the part numbers from Subaru. Rocker cover gasket, that's left-hand side, which I believe would be the driver's side. There's the right-hand side, there's the part number for that. Here are the spark plug tubes. All the part numbers are the same, but I'll go ahead and zoom in on that. You are going to need a little bit of Permatex gray gasket maker just for around the caps of the cam. And then, of course, I went with NGK. There's the part number, the iridiums. I think Subaru recommends 60,000 miles, but I'm pretty sure NGK says that it's okay to go 100. Again, it's just easier while I'm in there. I don't want to deal with this again. If she has the car to another 100,000 or even 60,000, I'd be pretty impressed. So anyway, this is stuff we're going to do. We'll get into it on the passenger side. I'm going to go ahead and start by disconnecting the battery. It's got to come out anyway, but it's going to make sure that you don't end up blowing any fuses or doing anything like electrical damage. So of course, after you disconnect the battery, I unhooked just the negative. The whole battery is actually going to end up coming out. However, on these cars, I promise you'll want to do a video of, which I guess at the end of this video I can show you how to do an idle relearn on these. They are terrible if you do not. So we're going to go ahead and start with the intake. Go ahead and loosen that. I think that's an 8 or a flat. Same thing there. There should be a clip there. We're missing one. And then we're probably going to go ahead and pull all of this out, including the air box. So let's go ahead and at least start with the easy stuff and pry these both out. I believe the air box, you can barely see it down there in the shadows. There's 3 10 millimeters, which I'll show you where they are, but let's go ahead and get the intake removed. All right, so before we get too much further, I want to show you where the bolts were. There's a plug, let me show you. Right there, you just squeeze that, it goes into the side of the air box. Of course, that's for the mass airflow. There's that bolt that I was showing you, and that there. I believe both are 10s, and then at that point, the air box comes up out. I don't necessarily know if, you might have to wiggle it out a little bit. There you go. I don't know if you need to do all this, but it makes it so much easier to be able to get to everything that you'd be almost foolish not to. It only took a quick second to do this. And while you're at it, I don't know if throttle body's ever been cleaned on this, so I might look at it here in a minute. I'll show you what it looks like too, but let me get a light and show you why we are doing this. Okay, so let me move this wire out of the way. So, spark plug tubes. I don't think the actual valve cover itself is leaking, but there is a massive amount around. Let me see if I can get a better view for you guys. There's a massive amount around the coil packs, and if you let this sit for more than a day or two, there you go, like on that front coil pack there, you can definitely smell the oil whenever it leaks onto the exhaust because the manifold is directly, there you go. You can see that metal shield. It leaks onto that. I don't know what the passenger side looks like, but the driver, or the, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what the driver's side looks like, but I saw that on the passenger side, so I knew right away that when I bought this car, this was what's gonna happen. So anyway, right here, this needs to come off. All it does is just sit inside of the manifold. They're 10s, all these are 10s as well. Before you start doing that, I'm going to put a towel or something underneath here because sometimes it will leak a little bit of oil out still. And then I believe there's 8 on the cam covers, and the two, you'll have to disconnect each coil pack and pull them out as well. So let me go ahead and start by removing this. I'll show you what it looks like. Like I said, you can see that bolt right there. You can see what's attached to, and you can definitely tell this has never been done. So I think sometimes this car has a slight misfire. Not bad enough to actually throw a light, but to me that's what it feels like. And I don't know the age of the plug, so I feel like this will definitely help. All right, so I think I went ahead and removed the two bolts on this. I think it just, there you go, just slides out just like that. It's just like covers the injectors and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and take the two bolts off. I'm not gonna show you that on camera, and the injectors are going to, not the injectors, I'm sorry, coil packs. I'm gonna take the two bolts off the coil packs, pull them out, and then I'm gonna start working on loosening some of these bolts. Before, I will actually show you how much oil's in the spark plug wells. So give me a minute, let me put some of this to the side. I'm charging my light to make sure it doesn't die. It takes longer to film and do stuff than it does just to fix it. Okay, so I'm trying to put some microfibers under here so it doesn't get all on the exhaust. I'm gonna do the best I can. All I did was bump that coil pack, and you can see the oil running down. Like I said, I don't actually know if this is leaking, if the cam cover, that piece. However, spark plug tubes are 100% leaking, and I don't know if it's just this side or both, but they're getting done. So, moment of truth. That's just from the coil pack. Like I said, I think this car has a small misfire, just not bad enough to actually trigger it. And that, all that oil, would be a good reason why it would be misfiring. So, oh my God. Believe it or not, spark plug, or the coil pack, yeah, there is a little bit. You can see all the oil on the bottom. So give me 1 second, let me put this over on the table. That's getting cleaned up before it goes back in, but let's see if I can get you guys in here well enough to now I'm trying to do a dance with the light, but anyway, as you can tell, it is leaking. I'm sure that one's leaking too, sorry. Let me go ahead and get this out and see if I can get the light in a way that you guys can actually see in there. So before I start digging into it, this is the back one. Same thing, you can see how much oil's on this. So again, let me see if I can get a close-up of what they look like inside, but that's why we're doing this. Really didn't want to do this job, but not that it's difficult, it takes just normal hand tools, but again, you can see how much oil's in there. So let me see if I can get the phone down in there now. This might be a little weird angle for camera. Yeah, you can see how much is laying in that one. And same thing with that one. Plugs look kind of old. So that's what we're gonna work on next. We're gonna go ahead and take the bolts off of this. It should be that one, that one, that one, the two in the middle, and then underneath. Obviously you don't want to go back here, just stay on the cover. So let me go ahead and remove these. I'll show you which ones it are, or what it is once they actually come off. From the factory, these have a little bit of RTV, which is why I got it to replace this. So you may have to work this off. Again, be gentle with this. Okay, so once you remove all the bolts out of the coil packs, and of course out of the rocker cover itself, we're gonna go ahead and pull it out. I've tried to put a towel down the best that I can. I'm gonna show you guys how easy or hard this is. I haven't tried to move it yet, but yeah. So I'm gonna try, I think, to get a little tiny screwdriver in there. See if we can get this pried out just a little bit. And I'm gonna try to clean this area up. I should have did it before I did that, but actually it's not that bad, it's fine. We'll just be careful. So anyway, Let me get a screwdriver in there. You can see that it moves. It just needs the finish coming off. So give me a second, let me get a screwdriver in there. I'll try to film this so you guys are able to see. All right, I got just a little one. Be careful, do not mark up the head or anything. We're just trying to, sorry. The point of this is just to free it. We are not trying to break anything or anything like that. So while I'm working on this, I did hear, there it is. Apparently the driver's side is a lot worse to do than this side, but we're gonna focus on one side at a time. Okay, so I don't know if I can get that without, there you go. Yep. And then of course, once this does come off, you're gonna have to clean the mating surface on the cam cover. These are a little different than EJ's. The FBs have like it's its own separate cam box per se. So let me work on this. I'll get it off. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Sorry, I could not do it with one hand. I'm trying to show you guys step by step on this. So. And this will be a first look inside of this motor with us. Yep, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let me get this out and I'll show you. It's supposed to lift up. Okay. A little bit of staining. It's not super bad though. So basically you're trying to cleaner the inside of the motor, the better the vehicle was taken care of. I don't consider that terrible. I also don't consider it great. It does look like the gasket itself actually stuck to the block. This is the factory RTV that they have used. So there you go. You can see what's in there. Actually, yeah, I did lose a little bit of oil down there on the rag, which is why we put that down there, because if not, it's going to burn off on the exhaust. So let me peel this off, and then we're going to have to clean any of the RTV off of it. Okay, so it doesn't feel hard or anything. It still feels soft. I'm of course still going to replace it. It does seem a little compressed compared to the other one. But our main issue, sorry about the phone, about dropped it. Those two black pieces right here, those are spark, and they're very, very hard. So those are spark plug tube like gaskets. Those are what keeps the oil out of the spark plug wells. And I believe that is why we're having issues with it leaking. So give me a couple minutes. These spark plug tubes end up pulling straight off. You shouldn't need pliers or anything. They are very hard. And then there's a shoulder on the inside that you can only push these so far. So you kind of really can't mess these up. But stuff like this is what I'm talking about, what we're gonna end up having to clean up. You guys, of course, probably don't wanna see that on camera. And then, of course, make sure not to get any dirt on the cams. So give me a couple minutes. Let me get this cleaned up. I'll show you what it looks like to get the spark plug tubes on, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm almost finished cleaning up. Probably cleaning up the mating surface of the old RTV is the hardest part. If you've ever done valve cover gaskets on an EJ, way easier. There's less space, but you don't have to deal with the silicone. You can just put another rubber seal on, slap it back together, it's good to go. I did go ahead and pull out both spark plug seals, and the one I had to actually fight pretty hard to get out, but you can see how flat it is, and listen, you can hear how hard both of them are. Here is one of the new ones, so as you can tell, it's not nearly as flat, and listen to it. So there's still rubber to it. They suggest put a little bit of oil on the inside of here whenever you do go to put these on. I got to finish cleaning this up. I've probably been I'm trying to do this the right way. I don't know if I need to be this anal with it, but I'm just making sure that it's clean. I'm probably about 45 minutes in, deep, and of course I cut myself too. This definitely needed done, but whatever the dealership is charging, it's not worth it, so just take your time. But yeah, so let me finish cleaning this up, and we'll get the new gasket put in, and we'll change spark plugs, put a little silicone on this, and then it's time to go ahead and put it back on and retorque it. Okay, so I finally finished scraping it off. It is not 100%. I'm not sure how you would get this 100%, and I don't care who you are, you're probably not getting it 100%. Did take the skid plate off. Also don't think that you can do this from up top. It makes it a whole lot easier just to go underneath. So I fought for this for probably longer than I should have. Definitely made it easier taking the skid plate off and crawling underneath. So up next, we're going to put the spark plug tubes in. My phone's greasy, by the way. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plugs out. So let me do that. I'm going to show you what the old ones look like. No idea what they do look like, but it's getting new ones anyway. So here's both plugs. They don't look terrible. You can clearly see they have been sitting in oil for a really, really long time. So we're gonna go ahead and throw them in, and then throw the new spark plug tubes in. Whenever we're finally to the point where it can go back together now. Whenever per Subaru, and I have a picture of the diagram, you are supposed to put silicone, or RTV, sorry, pretty much like to the corner to here, and then from here to here, same thing over there. Only actually, I think, let me check the diagram. I think it's that whole piece there, but for sure, definitely right in both of these valleys. And then that's pretty much it. It can kind of go back together. I will show you the torque specs here in a minute as well. And we're going to wrap this up. So I am going to finish this up in this video, and I'll show you obviously that side. Driver's side is, let me back this up just a little bit. The battery's going to have to come out. Same thing applies for this side, the battery and the battery tray. Of course, you're going to have the shield, and this side, I will also post that as a picture. You will have to take the serpentine belt off, and there is, let's see if I can find, there's marks down there on the block where this side's a little bit tighter, but basically do the same thing. Once you line the mark up, there's on the crank pulley, there's a mark on the block that you line up those two together, and that is to get, I guess, the lobes out of the way. And then you pretty much do this side. This job is not difficult. It's just very, very time consuming, and it's just prep work basically. The actual physical part is not that bad. I will also say this though. I know they said FB motors are supposed to be easier than EJ motors to do valve cover or rocker gaskets. That's a lie. EJ is definitely easier in my opinion. You don't have to clean any of this up, and I would have probably had 2 EJs done in the time that it's taken me to do just this one side. Obviously, before that cover goes back on, you'll want to clean out inside of the motor at the bottom if you got any kind of dirt or the silicone that Subaru slapped together in there. And even though I did an oil change on this car, I'm probably going to do one again once I finish this up. Just to make sure that anything, I don't know, is flushed out. Oil's cheap. So let me finish this up. Like I said, these just go on. There's a little tiny shoulder inside there. Put a little bit of oil right here on this part where my finger is. They just slide straight on. That's it. I'm going to put plugs on first, and then we'll put these in. And again, I'll post a picture of not only how to torque this, but the torque specs for all this. All right, so again, I will post the diagram of how you're actually supposed to put a little silicone, or how Subaru says you are, or RTV gasket. Again, I don't know the point of this, whatever. Now let's go ahead and time to install. By the way, do not put a whole bunch, like that little bit there in the corners from Subaru. They must have really slathered it up. Not about all that. That's kind of the point of a gasket. Anyway, I believe these are 4.7 pounds. Let me check to make sure of that. And I will also post a picture of the torquing sequence of how you're supposed to do this. So let me go ahead and get this installed. I'll post that picture up, and then we can go ahead, and I still got to clean the coil packs up. I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease on the end of the spark plug, if I can find where it's at. And that's it for the passenger side. I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead. This is going to be a 2-part video, or at least 2-day video. It's kind of getting late, so I'm probably going to finish this side, and then tomorrow morning I will work on the passenger or driver side. Okay, so like I said, refer to the pictures for the not only the torque sequence, but it also has the torque specs. As you can tell, the coil packs are a lot cleaner. Put a little bit of dielectric grease in them. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the rail cover back on, and then at this point, this side's pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and put the air box in and hook up the mass airflow, and probably put the throttle, the intake tube back on. I'm not going to put the splash shield back on until the very bitter end. One, I got to do an oil change, which you can do it with that on. However, I want to make sure that nothing is leaking. Good news is, I know some of these FB motors have oil leaking from, I guess would be the cam half of the head. This is dry. You can just see there's a bunch of residual oil from from where these were leaking. This side was definitely worse. However, on this side, whenever I do film that part of it, from them filling it up being sloppy, the front's pretty messy, so that'd be something I'm gonna clean up too. But unrelated to this video, this is a premium. It does not have fog lights. It doesn't matter what spec you have, these all come pre-wired for fog lights. So if you're wondering what it looks like, this is gonna be on both sides. You'll have to put a fog light kit in, and I believe there's a relay that goes behind the dash, and the switch that goes over by the traction control button, since this car didn't have it. But we're on the home stretch on this side, and now that I've learned kind of how to do this, other side should go a lot quicker. Only thing is, with that side, it's a little bit tighter, but that's pretty much it for tonight. I'm undecided if I want to film the other half of this, because of course, I mean, it would be good for everybody to see, but this video is probably fairly long as it is. So in the morning I'll decide. If I decide not to film that side, I will end this video out. If I do decide to film it, you'll get to see how bad that was. Okay, so this is driver's side. We are not going to actually film this side. However, I want you to see how bad this one's leaking down the front now. It's not the actual cam case. It's just the rocker cover. And then of course the front is all slopped up from when people are doing oil changes. But yeah, even the driver's side is pretty bad. You can see how bad it's leaking down. But let me get back up. It is not a hard project by any means. It's just time consuming. Take your time on this. Obviously try not to scrape any of the cams or anything like that. And Subaru actually makes, and I didn't know this till after I finished up on the passenger side, Subaru makes it's a silicone gasket remover. Apparently it's supposed to help with removing the RTV on these. I think it's like $10. I'm actually going to the Subaru dealership, so I might grab that. If you guys want to see a part 2 to this video, go ahead and say I might end up filming the driver's side later on, but I do at least want to finish this video up. And from my understanding, the marks on the crank pulley only kind of apply to Outbacks, I guess, and Legacies, because the frame rails are different. But if it doesn't come off and it's stuck on there, of course, I showed you where to do that. I'm gonna try to remove the least amount that I can though. Battery definitely has to come out. And remember, when the battery comes out, you're gonna have to do the relearn for the throttle. But anyway, if you guys have watched up to this point, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and go ahead and comment below if there's an easier or better way to do some of the things that I've done in this video.